how would you like to own a portion of a guitar in your retirement or investment portfolio right along, GameStop and Dogecoin? Well, Gibson thinks you should be able to, and we're going to tell you all about it, so stay tuned. Hey, you're watching Alamo Music TV. My name is Chris McKee.
And I'm Cooper Greenberg.
We're here with Alamo Music Center in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and like our videos. If you'd like to support the channel, visit our spring store where you can buy a share of this shirt, that particular square inch portion of it, for starting at $1. How's that?
That doesn't sound like a very good deal to me.
But that's what we're talking about today, folks. So there was a recent press release announcement that I want us to talk about. And in the press release announcement, Gibson shared with us that they have partnered with a company called Rally, not the burger chain, but an investment company, to offer shares in special guitars as investment vehicles, which is a little bit weird to me.
I've always loved how special guitars have a great track record for appreciating greatly in value over time.
Yeah, well, so let's get into it, shall we?
Yeah.
I'm at the outset, let's say this. We are not offering you any type of investment advice whatsoever. If you have questions about investments, please seek the advice of a certified financial planner or licensed financial advisor or professional, which I am or used to be, but I'm not anymore. Do you know that? Former life, I was in investments.
Did you ever advise anybody to get into the guitar NFT business?
No, but I actually did, even way back when, have questions about holding certain things in certain investment vehicles. Like people would ask, how do I have gold in my 401k and how do you do that and stuff like that. And so this is kind of where this is. Rally, from what I understand, and I haven't read a prospectus about these offerings or anything, it's a press release, but we're going to talk about it. So Rally is offering collectibles as options for investments. And you're buying these not as you typically would. So collectibles is not new as far as an investment. People buy art, they buy cars, they buy watches and jewelry and stuff, and guitars, arguably, as things that they see as investments that can appreciate over time. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about buying a share of a collectible item.
So you never hold the guitar, you never play it, it's not like a timeshare kind of thing.
No, it's not. According to the press release, it's not.
So tell me what you think the point of that would be.
Well, so here's the idea from Gibson. So Gibson's partnering with Rally, and what they're saying is initially they're offering 3 very special guitars. A guitar based upon a Slash model, Tony Iommi, and Adam Jones, models that have come out. They were custom shop creations, and these 3 guitars were the artist signed and approved prototypes. So other guitars that are exactly like these guitars exist, but these guitars are different because they're the prototypes. So the assumption is that they are worth more. I'm going to use certain words to not be sued and also communicate disdain. So the assumption is that they are worth more and will increase in value. Now, they are offering shares of these guitars where the benefit, Cooper, is if you could not afford to buy that special prototype Adam Jones Les Paul, based upon his 1979 Les Paul, then you can purchase a share in it. So you have fractional ownership of it. Now, where these will live, according to the press release, is in Gibson's vault, which is in the Gibson garage that is newly built storefront experience in Nashville.
So, yeah, I mean, let's use that soft language of assumption. I'm gonna get around to my point here, but how many times have prototypes been available for sale by any guitar manufacturer ever?
Often?
Often?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends upon the manufacturer. I don't want to speak for all manufacturers, but there are prototypes out there that exist, and there are plenty of one-offs. Anything that was custom made for a customer is effectively a one-off.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like a new model's being introduced and then they stamp on it not for sale prototype.
So Taylor does it all the time. We've sold prototypes.
I think
they don't see it as a big deal.
You know, my assumption is they're like, we can't sell these guitars. How do we make money off of them? And or how do we make more money off of them than if we just sold it outright to somebody?
Well, I think that's a very cynical approach to
I'm
this.
cynical.
Mark Agnesi said that this is a way for people to own a guitar that they otherwise wouldn't be able to own, without owning the guitar that they otherwise wouldn't be able to own.
I think maybe it calls into it a more philosophical question of what does it mean to own a guitar? Does that mean you put hands on it and you make music with it? Because I don't think my share will help me at the gig tonight. You know
okay,
what I'm
well,
saying?
so let's here's an elephant in the room. As musicians, we think this is stupid, okay? Because you and I buy a guitar to play the guitar because we can. But arguably, there are people that buy guitars not for that purpose. They buy them because they see them as artistic objects, right? And they want to enjoy them from that standpoint. And I don't struggle with that as much. I still struggle with that a bit because I think a guitar is made to be played. But nevertheless, at least they own it. I think where I really struggle with this is that you don't. You own, I have a lot of questions, okay? You own a share in the guitar. So if you own a share in a company, here's how this works. That company should be valuated. And not how things currently work, but how things should work, is the valuation of that company should look at like debt to value ratio, how much debt the company has, the products they produce, the services they offer, how much income is coming in. Nowadays, we just say a company's worth $30 billion, despite the fact that Rivian's never even produced a single vehicle. Not that I'm picking on Rivian per se, but like everything's kind of weird right now. We're selling JPEGs on the internet as NFTs for insane amounts of money. Like it's weird, and this new investment strikes me as odd. For us, it's already weird because I think guitars as investments to a musician is a weird thing, period. But when you own it, just like you own a piece of art, you own it. Your risk is liquidity, which basically means you have to sell it to get the money, like most things, but you have to find a buyer for it.
Yeah.
Okay? And then the other risk is just the simple valuation. Who determines the value? The market does. How big is that market to determine value? Like on a vintage guitar, how much is a 1952 Telecaster really worth? Can you tell me right now? Can anybody tell me right now?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all subjective. So what I'm confused about with this is if you buy a share in the Adam Jones Les Paul and it's worth $5, how does it become eventually $10 more? Because it's sitting in a vault, right? So the valuation's going to go up somehow, presumably. And then when you want to sell your share and make your profit from $5 to $10, who's buying? Like, where's this market for this stuff? These are my questions.
Yeah, I kind of have this. I've been formulating this very radical idea that could be like, a piece of advice to anybody out there who's trying to make guitars that will appreciate and value. Make super good guitars. It's the opposite of a good idea because the light bulb went off above my head. You make super good guitars and have great quality control and make them sound great and last forever so that you can pass them on to people in the future, and then out of nowhere you got your next pre-war Martin on your hands, you know what I'm saying? Because we're definitely pre some other war, I'll tell you that.
There you go. Well, here's the thing. I think, subjectively and objectively, I think when you look at guitars as an investment, particularly like a flat top acoustic guitar or an electric guitar, it's a pretty young instrument. An electric guitar has been around for 70 years, roughly. And nobody could have pinpointed that any of these guitars would be worth value from being a vintage model of something that got famous. It's hard to even say what's going to be famous. The Les Paul went out of production because it wasn't popular until a young guy named Eric Clapton started playing it, right? Jazzmasters didn't catch on. Jaguars are supposed to be the top echelon of Fender's lineup and found no audience whatsoever, while the Telecaster and the Stratocaster soldier on. So it's really hard to determine what is going to cause something to be valuable. That's the speculative nature of collectible investing, period, right? Stamps, coins, like usually it's about rarity, it's blemishes, it's historical value. A guitar's worth a lot because someone famous owned it. So in this particular case, what's worth more? Adam Jones' actual guitar or the copy of Adam Jones' actual guitar versus all the other copies of Adam Jones' actual guitar.
Yeah.
You know? And so there's a lot into this, and maybe someone a lot smarter than me has figured this out, or at least figured out a way to make money with it. But at the end of the day, I have a serious question for the guitar community. Like, who's buying this? Who's interested in buying a fractional share of a guitar that you don't own and never will? I mean, hey, look, there's rich people that buy Ferraris that they never get to take home and only drive at the track. It's fine.
Yeah.
But this is just kind of weird to me. It's like the NFT thing. I think it's weird. I think it's just people finding ways of making money. But maybe I'm wrong. And maybe there's people that watch this channel that go, no, I can't wait to buy a fractional share of a custom shop copy of Slash's ES 1275 or whatever it is.
It's like, what amp are you going to plug that into? You know what I'm saying?
Well, you really aren't plugging it into the amp because the very special amp that I have in mind is like a Dumble that I own fractional shares in.
Exactly. So you can actually build your dream gear, like rig rundown. You just have shares of it, but
well, it'll be just as attainable as the dream. And on that note, I'd like to hear from you guys in the comments what you think about this venture that Gibson is joining in with Rally. I mean, they see value there. The other question I have is, will other guitar companies follow suit? Gibson, maybe unsurprisingly, is the first one to do this. Maybe they'll offer a Trini Lopez, like this beautiful guitar, as fractional shares. Will Fender jump in? Will Martin jump in? I don't see Taylor doing that, but that'd be a surprise. Maybe
it's like a huge ploy to get all these people to buy into it and then drive over them with a tank.
Gibson would never do that. So anyways, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Maybe there's some financial advisors who watch this channel that might give insight to this guy who left that industry when the getting was good. And no knock to you guys, it just wasn't for me. So maybe you can provide some insight. But for me, I'm just going to buy a guitar that I can play. So. And I think at the end of the day, the very best guitar in the world is the one that you don't have to own fractional shares in.
One that you can actually hold.
So if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, and like our videos before we get sued. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.